Hello there and welcome back to Diablo 3, where I'm playing as a monk. I'm in Act 5, and last episode I was finding siege runes so I can use the big battering ram in Hell to find where Malthael is. It's a bit of a long episode, so I didn't get time to do all this stuff. Oops. Let's just see what Hadric says about what's happening.
I thought on what you said, and you may have been right. Can't bear the thought of another friend's death.
I have lived a solitary life, Hadric. I do not believe it is any easier.
I suppose so.
Okay. I won't do the rest of the talking around here. I might just continue on with the quest. See what happens. So, materials here again, right?
When Malthael disappeared from the heavens, why didn't you search for him?
Malthael kept to himself much of the time, and he was known to leave without warning. Eventually, the council became concerned. We sent his closest followers to find him. Most of them did not return.
Malthael, the maidens, they continued to serve their former master.
It seems so.
You built the Pandemonium Fortress.
Not on my own, but it was my idea. Yeah, the angels raised it around the World Stone many eons ago.
Do you know any other ways inside? A secret entrance?
I fear not. The fortress is always changing, caught between the forces of heaven and hell.
Okay. Let's go to the ram. Oh, that's right. We're on the ram. It's swinging. We're on top for some reason.
Tyrael has told me that the winged assassins were once the sages of wisdom. In return for their vow of eternal silence, they were free to roam Malthael's pools of wisdom in the high heavens. Over the millennia, they learned nearly everything about the past, the present, and even part of what would come. But could they have foreseen their dark fates? That I do not know.
Attack the hooks!
Pretty cool idea, this one. They're technically on the moving ram as it batters down the door. Very different. I think it's a cool idea.
Not enough steel.
Destroy the hooks that slow it down.
Prepare for one last hit!
There's my siege runes.
The way is clear.
Okay. In we go, the Pandemonium Fortress.
Pandemonium Fortress. When I fought Malthael, my sword passed through him like air. He is in a state of death and life, impervious to physical harm. Your strength is not enough. To defeat him, you must channel the power of death as he does.
What about the spirits gathered below?
The power of the dead. If you could become one with it, you would be as Malthael is, and you could face him. But you must find a way, quickly. Every moment, thousands die, and Malthael's power grows beyond anything I have ever seen. The fortress feels strange and new to me, though I have come here times beyond count as its champion and as its liberator. It changes to match the nature of whoever controls it, but I have never seen it like this while under the control of an angel.
This fortress is a reflection of what Malthael has become.
Alright. It's got to harness the power of death apparently to defeat Malthael.
son, gods be praised. A monk of Ivgorod come in this time of imbalance.
Patriarch, but I saw you alive only months ago.
And now the monkey's having visions.
Patriarch Anisan, it is you. I seek your wisdom.
Malthael is protected by the Shroud of Death. I cannot harm him.
To strike at death itself, you will be more than my power. 3 other patriarchs were slain by Malthael's reapers. Our spirits are imprisoned, unable to complete the cycle of rebirth. Set us free, and we will join our power to yours. Not even death can stand apart from you then.
Alright. So I gotta find the soul prison. And free some of these souls.
No living soul may touch the god of death, but we are not alive, and what remains of our strength will help you strike him. The other gods stand against him, but only you can strike the blow that will defeat him.
I will not fail you.
There are many spirits gathered here by Malthael. 3 of the patriarchs who were slain by his reapers are here also. We fight against Malthael's control, but without success.
Patriarch, you were alive when last I saw you.
Malthael's reapers slew me and 3 of the other patriarchs when they attacked Ivgorod.
Okay, so it sounds like Ivgorod.
Nephilim. The Black Soul Stone journeys through the portal to Sanctuary. Even now it spreads death across your world. And so ends the eternal conflict.
Yeah, it's like Chaldeum, and it sounds like Ivgorod, which is the monk's hometown, I guess you call it. It's also been attacked. The monk didn't seem to react too badly to that news.
A worthy challenge.
These monsters were once the most notorious and reviled criminals in Westmarch, drawn up from the deepest, darkest cells of the city's prisons. Each was worse than the last. Heartless murderers who had butchered countless men, women, and children. In death, Malthael birthed them in forms that matched their twisted, callous souls, creating perfect instruments of slaughter. The executioners have earned their name.
So there's a book here called The Testament of Inarius. Part 1.
They call me a hero. I slew demons. I won battles and broke sieges, but it availed me nothing. I know that this war can have no victor, only an eternity of revenge, pride, and hatred. Tyrael does not understand. He cannot see beyond the glory of battle. In time he may, but that day is not yet here.
What you ask is impossible.
Freezing trap. There was a portal. Not. Here's level 48. Mantra of Healing is a new rune, but just increases maximum life, so that's not really interesting. So I'm looking for the way to level 2. Another ancient writing. Testament of Inarius Part 2.
There must be others who seek a way out of the endless strife. Angels and demons who feel enslaved by our fate. I cannot be unique in all of creation. I know my path. I will find those disillusioned of the world and lead them.
Salasius Nectarus. Frozen. And Bolt at the same time. It's interesting combination.
I don't have enough spirit.
The Annas were among Malthael's most trusted advisors, and his fall to darkness affected them deeply. Gone were their radiant wings and calm, balanced counsel. Now they possess only malice and cruelty, and the insatiable desire to destroy all living things.
Dead end. Just gonna slow going in here. More ancient writings. The writings of Lilith, Part 1.
My father is content to fight the same battles and the same foes while everything turns to ashes. Those victories might last a day, or a year, or 100 years. The war will never be won so long as he and his brothers lead. There is an end to it, but fools like my father are too blind to see it.
So Lilith and Inarius were the two, was the angel and the demon and the angel, who I believe created the Nephilim. So it's interesting to hear what they say about their mindset. So they essentially work together.
I don't have enough spirit.
Inarius Part 3.
I was struck down in a third charge. I lay upon the ground, only to wake in chains. I did not know that demons took prisoners.
Not enough spirit.
Fool about my dreams of escape in this world. My captor freed me and said that we would meet again. Her name was Lilith, daughter of Mephisto.
I need spirit.
Champions over here. It's champion Exarchs. Shielding and Nightwish. Lilith Part 2.
I took a prisoner in the battle, an angel whose light was dimming. I brought him to my lair for my amusement, but he surprised me. My touch seemed to breathe life into him. He raved like a madman about how he wished to escape the war. Perhaps I have found someone I can use.
That actually sounds a bit cunning how she's saying that. Maybe her intentions weren't as honest as first thought. Alright, what have we got here? Seraziel, Guardian.
The strength of your will joined with mine.
We have made it possible for you to reach beyond the veil of death. The rest remains your task. Serve us well, as you always have, my son.
There is a question about the nature of the gods I have wanted to ask you. Would you entertain it?
Ask, my son.
Are the angels gods? Is Malthael the god of death?
They are, but they are not. Gods are in everything. The river, the mountain, in fire. And then there is the one. When patriarchs die, their spirits are released to be born again. Malthael has interrupted the natural cycle of reincarnation.
What will happen to you after?
If you are successful, we will depart, and the cycle will proceed as it always has, and we will be reborn. My new form could be a little more handsome.
Alright, so I have a buff called the Aspect of Death, which means I can damage Malthael, so that's always good. And it looks like it is time to locate Malthael.
I could never have felt this way about a demon while I was mired in the endless war. The strain holds us prisoner to what we've been told to believe. She and I have made plans. We will bring others to our cause, and together we will escape.
Don't give up hope now! It's almost dead!
Any event here?
It cannot be done.
I don't have enough spirit.
Okay.
Blood and thunder! You fight like Tyrael himself! Now go retrieve that stone. We will help as we can.
I do like how the colour's all muted in this part. I kind of feel like that's how it should look the whole time. Almost like it's a bit of an experiment on behalf of the creators to see what it would look like. A bit more muted colour. Path of Wisdom.
I heard a sound and did not know what it was. I sought wisdom in the chalice, but there was none. The sounds called to me, and I knew them. Human souls. But where? I brought myself to Sanctuary, where humans dwell, but the souls did not call me from that place. I searched the breadth of creation,
need spirit.
I thought I was going to seek through that one, but didn't quite make it. Oh, it's a gate there. It's a bit sneaky. I can dash through the gate, which is handy.
Not enough spirit. You get defeated.
It'll be cozy here.
Do that.
A lot of these dead ends. They look like cul-de-sacs almost. I'm trying to rush a bit now because I'm running. Probably should have stopped at that waypoint earlier.
What you
Just trying to make up
ask
some
is
time.
impossible. It cannot be done. I will not do that.
I feel like I definitely went the very wrong way. Let's go through these portals.
I need spirit. What you ask is impossible.
Be a long episode, that's for sure. I was trying to keep every episode under 25 minutes, but I think I'm going to fail this one.
I don't have enough spirit.
Or use that. Zoran. Guardian of Malthael. Path of Wisdom Part 3.
The soul swirl and writhe. I now know the truth of mortals. All paths lead to death. Whatever their struggles, whatever their triumphs, they die. That is wisdom.
running Fortress level 3. I'm hoping there's a waypoint. Or perhaps this is something else. Heart of the fortress. Oh, I'm guessing it's time to go fight Malthael. Do I remember how to do this? That's the question.
The Soul Stone is a born sanctuary. The blood of demons will soon be gone from all creation. You will be the last of your kind for a few moments. Death comes, Nephilim.
There's a few dangerous attacks here to avoid. I just can't remember what they are. Oh, there's clouds you gotta avoid. And you gotta avoid doing that. Oh, that's right, and these things you gotta avoid.
Death is beyond your reach.
I'm gonna save my charge and my dashing strikes just in case I need to get out somewhere quick. Like that. Phase 2.
The power of death. But that will not save you.
Oh, it looks like he's absorbed the Black Soul Stone into himself, which gets to make him more powerful. Gonna do something cool. That's a dangerous attack for sure, remember that one. One last red burst. And he's dead.
My understanding grows.
Get a legendary staff as a reward. I'll level up too. Level 49. Might change my wave of light. I'll keep my 3 strikes. They're handy. Alright, let's see what Tyrell has to say now that Malthael has been destroyed.
Where is the Black Soul Stone?
Malthael destroyed it and used the power within.
Then Malthael's death will have released Diablo. He is free.
Alright, that's the end. I'm sure there's going to be a cinematic to play now, so let's click OK and see how the story ends up.
The Nephilim had done the impossible. By conquering death, he had redeemed the angels and saved all mankind. In that moment, with victory at hand, I saw the Nephilim in a new light. He is a hero who can defeat the champions of heaven and hell, and a monk who protects the innocent. But within him beats a mortal heart that will one day be tempted to corruption. On that day, will he have the strength to resist? Or will he be our doom?
Alright, there's the end of Diablo 3, with the story kind of indicating that Tyrael seems to have concerns that me being the hero, with all my mass level of power that I've accumulated, might one day be susceptible to corruption should something happen. Which again kind of mirrors the whole ending of Diablo 1, start of Diablo 2, where in Diablo 2, Diablo was... Gotta say Diablo so often, don't we? In Diablo 2, Diablo was basically spawned out of the hero of Diablo 1, whoever that was at the time. And so it's kind of repeating itself. Will they make a Diablo 4 though? That is the question to be asked. There's a lot of... let's say negativity about the recent release, or announcement of Diablo, was it Immortal? The mobile phone game? Will Blizzard actually put resources into a full-fledged Diablo 4 or a remake of Diablo? I guess time will tell. I kind of hope that they do, but I kind of hope that when they do it, they go back to the styles of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. And that brings me to the first topic of this little recap, and that's the design style of Diablo 3. I kind of agree with a lot of the negativity in that it's too colourful, too cartoony. And it's not so much that it's colourful or cartoon, I just don't like how all the Blizzard games seem to have that same art style. Ever since World of Warcraft came out, a lot of their games seem to be... It's like they're all made in the same style. Everything looks like it's the same universe. Maybe that's their intention. But I don't know, I feel like it just looked like I was playing a top-down version of WoW, whereas Diablo 2 had a really, I thought it was a really awesome, even though it was all 2D, it had a very strong darkness, it had an evilness to it. It felt like it was you're going through dank dungeons and cursed temples, and it felt evil. It felt dangerous, it felt dark, it felt gruesome. Whereas I think in Diablo 3, because it's so much more colourful and cartoony, it kind of loses that aspect, and I think that's what made Diablo 3 so intriguing to play, and whereas Diablo 2 made it so intriguing to play, and Diablo 3 doesn't have that same pull. I'd love to see a mod or see a patch where they change it a bit, make it darker, make it more evil. And then if they do make a Diablo 4, I hope they change the art style. I don't want them to go back to 2D, but I'd love to see them make just make it separate from World of Warcraft. And then there comes to the next issue, is the difficulty of the game. I think it's gone through a lot of iterations, Diablo 3, over the years. They've changed the single player aspect, they've changed the campaign, they've changed leveling up. Right now it's all about the rifts and the adventure mode, but I think they've forgotten that the core gameplay is the actual difficulty choices you make just don't make any sense anymore. I mean, Diablo 2 works so well because you know there's 3 difficulties, you're playing one by one, and the scaling of the difficulty just scales up so perfectly, I think. You know what you have to do, you know what the next quest is, you know it's going to be a little bit harder. Whereas in Diablo 3 I played on normal difficulty and it just was it was just ridiculously easy. The fact that I was killing most unique enemies with just one 7-sided strike is just a bit silly. I didn't take barely any damage the whole game. Some of you might question why I didn't raise the difficulty at all during the game. The reason why was twofold. A, to show how broken it is, And B is also a bit of a test, 'cause I've never actually done it from start to finish on normal. I always increase it at some stage myself. And I was curious to see, would the game be easy for the whole way through? And unfortunately the answer is yes. So when I do play this again with a different character, I will start the game at a high difficulty just from the outset. Hopefully make it a bit more challenging. But at the same time, I wasn't too, as much as I wasn't too fussed, I was happy to leave it on normal because this first playthrough, it was more about the story, speaking to everyone, taking it all in rather than fighting and just laying into enemies non-stop. So it kind of goes both ways, I guess, from my point of view. But it's a lot of negativity I've just said about Diablo 3. It is still a good game. I have put a lot of hours into it over the years. I mean, I've got level 70. Actually, to be honest, I never actually played a Demon Hunter ever. But, you know, I got my Monk, my Crusader, my Barbarian, my Wizard. I made a level 70 hardcore Monk. Done a lot of adventure mode. So I have played a lot, but I just think the game doesn't draw me back just as much as Diablo 2 did. But I think that's also just because I've moved past the games where the whole end game is just to collect loot. And you're just killing for the sake of killing to get loot and leveling up. And I don't really do those games anymore. Much like The Division when I played that. Love playing through the game, I love leveling up, I love collecting loot on the way and increasing power. But then as soon as I finish the story, and that's what the game turns into, it's just a shooter-looter, I lose interest because I just don't really do that no more. I'd rather have a good story and have progress that makes sense in the game and then move on to something else. And that's probably about it. So I'll watch the credits go through as I always do for all my games. There's actually two lots of credits. There's the Diablo 3 credits and then the Reaper of Souls credits. The Reaper of Souls expansion was good, added a lot to the game. Some of the ideas were good. The creature design is much better. Actually, that is one of the issues you'd have with Diablo 3 is the creature design I think lacked a bit. Most notably when it comes to the demons and Diablo itself. I think Diablo in Diablo 2 looked imposing, it looked intimidating and scary. And I think the Diablo in this game, it almost didn't even look like a demon anymore, it looked more like a xenomorph. Like you could say it's from the Alien films and you wouldn't be surprised. Now, that could be because Diablo technically spawned from Leah, so it makes it more feminine. But I just wasn't a fan of Diablo, how he presented. But some of the other bosses though, I mean, well, the Butcher's a bit cliched, but Asmodan I think is an amazing looking boss, especially in that cinematic that he has at the end of Act 2. I think it was Act 2, yeah. He's a really cool boss. Malthael, yeah. Again, all the design of the angels kind of just goes back to that WoW design. And you compare like the cinematics of Diablo 2 with Tyrael, and you compare that to the cinematics in Diablo 3, it just oozes WoW, not Diablo. And, you know, other issues, the character progression, how you don't choose your stats anymore. I'm not too fussed about that, to be honest, but I do miss the skill tree. I feel like in Diablo 3, once you're level 70 now, because you can just change all your skills around willy-nilly, there's no real need or reason to actually start a new character, because there's nothing different you can do. Diablo 2 was great fun, because you'd have ideas on characters, and then you just go back and you try a new one and see how it pans out. So every time you add a new character, it's like a little experiment, and it's always curious to see how your new ideas would work. Whereas Diablo 3, you want new ideas, like, oh, we'll just change the skills around and you can do it. So again, that probably because I like leveling up, I like the exploration aspect of the game, whereas I know other people just like the looting and the leveling up. So maybe that's more aimed towards those people that don't need to bother going through the whole story every single time to make a new character. Each their own, I guess, but that's just my personal preference. I like starting fresh and having something different to try. More negativity. It's like I don't even like this game. I do like this game. It's got lots of positive, good aspects to it. I just feel like they've gotten away too much from the story campaign game and they're focused too much on just endgame looting. Which I think is a bit of a shame, but again, that's just my personal preference, and a lot of people do love this game still. The story was okay. Bit cliche, lots of clunky exposition in the story narrative. But the base story, the whole base story of Adria using her daughter to spawn a new Diablo, that's, you know, kind of cool. And the angels turning against humans, that was kind of cool. Again, just the way they deliver the story, it wasn't as subtle as or as clever as Diablo 2. There's just too much exposition for characters, which is so obvious exposition. I'm not a fan of that. Cinematics are pretty good, as always. It is a Blizzard game. That's one thing that they do excel at every time. Especially that Act 3 one with Asmodean. That was very cool. And I think that's going to be it for this little signing off on Diablo. So we'll finish watching the credits. And then that will be it. I'm going to go for a bit of a different style now with some of my playthroughs. I'm going to try starting a few different games at once. I know I tried a similar thing back a little while ago. I was trying to play 3 games at once, but I think I was putting too much pressure to release them all in order in the same style. I think my OCD got ahead of me a bit. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try and play a few different older games and just update them as I progress. So maybe some games might take a few weeks between updates, other ones might happen more often. Just depends how good I am at the game, because I'm going to play a few ones I haven't got much experience with, namely Age of Wonders and Heretic, the old ID Doom clone. And then in between I'm going to play maybe a bit of Ghost Recon as well, because I've got a lot of temptations in my gaming at the moment. Bloody GOG and all their sales and old games I just want to come back to, and I'm trying to torn where to start. So I'm going to try and just play a few different things at once and just update them bit by bit. And I guess that's that. The other issue with Diablo is the secret level, which I haven't played yet for Diablo 3. And the reason is it's a lot of farming to do. My plan is once this season is over, and my character gets merged with all my other characters, I might go back to the secret level then. I've already got the stuff herding created. It's a lot more effort to get to the secret level in Diablo 3 than it is Diablo 2, that's for sure. And that would be it. So I will sign off there. I do like this game. There is potential for this game to have some pretty good Let's Plays. I focus a lot on the negatives, but that's just how it is sometimes. I will come back and play Diablo again as a Barbarian Crusader. I might even purchase the Necromancer pack and give the Necro a go at a high difficulty. Until then though, I will say one more time, thanks for watching guys. I thank you for your support, and I hope to see you on my channel again for my future playthroughs and Let's Plays. Take care.